The new Yamaha TrueX Surround 90A soundbar feels like a full-circle moment for the brand, blending decades of home theater innovation into a modern Dolby Atmos system. It's offered as a standalone TrueX Bar 90A with a subwoofer, or you can get the full package that's the Surround 90A that adds wireless rechargeable surrounds for a more immersive setup. Now, before I dive right into the design and everything this soundbar has, it's worth remembering how deep Yamaha's roots actually go. In 1985, Yamaha released the DSP-1, which was the world's first standalone digital sound field processor for home use. It didn't decode Dolby Surround like later systems, but instead, Yamaha's engineers actually captured impulse responses from real concert halls and theaters and used digital signal processing to recreate those environments in your own living room. Now, that innovation laid the foundation for Yamaha's digital sound field processing, or DSP, still used in their receivers today. Now, nearly 2 decades later, Yamaha reshaped home audio again with the YSP-1 introduced in 2004 as the world's first powered soundbar. It used 42 individual powered drivers with precise digital processing to beam sound around your room and create a true surround experience from a single enclosure. Now, this digital sound projector technology in it became the blueprint for nearly every modern soundbar that followed. Today, the TrueX Surround 90A feels like a culmination of that legacy. It's an updated, next-generation version of Yamaha's beam steering philosophy, now enhanced with wireless flexibility and Dolby Atmos capability. Now, the main bar stretches just under 4 feet wide and about 3 inches tall, making it a good visual fit beneath a 55 to maybe 75-inch TV. It has a dense metal-reinforced chassis with a smooth fabric wrap and minimal visual clutter to it. It comes in at 28 pounds, and everything about it feels really solid, from the damped circular feet for stability to the subtle display cutout on the grille. Now, the front of the bar houses the left, center, and right channels, each using Yamaha's custom 4.4 by 2-inch oval full-range drivers paired with 1-inch dome tweeters to deliver clear, focused dialogue and well-balanced mids. Now, above them sits an array of 12 1.1-inch beam drivers, 6 on each end of the bar at about a 20-degree angle that fire sound upward to create the height and width effects that make this system so immersive. Now, this approach builds on that same digital sound projection technology that Yamaha pioneered in its early YSP soundbars, like I mentioned before, which use precise DSP timing to steer beams of sound and reflect them off your walls and ceilings. Now, this system also comes with a wireless subwoofer that feels pretty compact but decently well built. It uses a 6.75-inch driver and Yamaha's newly developed symmetrical flare port to reduce turbulence and deliver deeper, smoother bass. Now, it sits comfortably beside a media console or in a corner, and because you connect it wirelessly, you can place it almost anywhere where you have an outlet to power it. Now, we do recommend watching our audio advice subwoofer placement video that I'll link down below to help you find the ideal spot in your room to really get the most out of the subwoofer. But what's really cool about this entire system is the TrueX Speaker 3A surrounds. Now, each one is a small cylindrical speaker with dual full-range drivers and passive radiators. They can run off their internal rechargeable batteries for up to about 12 hours or stay powered on while they're sitting on their included charging pads. Now, where it gets really fun is the fact that you can press one button on them and switch into Bluetooth mode and then use them as individual portable speakers. They're also IP67 rated, so you can even take them outside by the pool and not worry about them getting a little bit of water on them. So you're essentially getting wireless rechargeable surrounds for your theater setup with the soundbar, and then you're also getting high-quality Bluetooth speakers that you can take with you anytime you want to. Now, it's one of the most versatile designs that we've seen, and it really does add real-world value to this entire system for the price. Now, I will say that some other soundbars like JBL's 1300X, those do have detachable surrounds too, but those are not IP67 rated, and they just don't feel as robust as Yamaha's do. And when it comes to the charging pads for these wireless speakers, they are convenient, but they're not perfect to us. They do come with detachable USB-A to USB-C cables that are only about 2 feet long, which is a little bit frustrating if you don't have an outlet nearby, especially if you want to put the charging pads right behind your couch and always leave them there to have the surrounds charging. Now, the good news is those cables are removable, so you can easily swap them for longer ones if needed, but Yamaha also doesn't include charging bricks in the box, and at this price point, we would have really loved to just just see longer USB-C to USB-C cables and matching power adapters included. Not a huge deal, as you can use your own, but still, I would have loved to see that. Now, if you want a completely wireless look, you can simply just charge the surrounds occasionally in a different location and remove the pads altogether and then put them in the location behind your couch where you want them. Now, in our testing, we averaged about 2 to 3 days of use on a full charge, and we had no dropouts during testing, which was really great. Now, when it comes to the features and tech packed inside, Yamaha really does show its deep roots in both AV receivers and modern streaming systems. This bar supports Dolby Atmos, DTS-X, and according to Yamaha, it's the world's first Auro 3D capable soundbar. At the heart of it all is Yamaha's Surround AI processing engine, powered by the same 64-bit chip found in their flagship receivers. Now, this system analyzes incoming content in real time, adjusting balance, dynamics, and spatial cues depending on the type of scene. A quiet dialogue moment is treated differently from a car chase, and those transitions really do happen seamlessly. Now, the 12 beam drivers on the top of the bar are where the magic really starts to happen. Rather than simply bouncing generic sound upward, Yamaha precisely times each one to direct energy toward your walls and your ceiling, creating reflections that make sound to appear to come from specific points all around you. When the room conditions are right, the sense of immersion with this soundbar is pretty remarkable, we have to say. One thing worth noting here is that the TrueX Surround 90A doesn't include any kind of automatic room calibration or microphone-based setup like you'll find on some higher-end receivers or soundbars. Now, Yamaha's AV receivers use a system called YPAO, or Yamaha Parametric Room Acoustic Optimizer, which analyzes your room with a microphone, and then it automatically adjusts EQ and delays for optimal sound. Now, that feature isn't built into the 90A, when we really would have thought it would have been amazing to have it included in here. Instead, you will get manual controls for adjusting beam angle, focal length, and the ceiling height within the on-screen menu. Now, these are going to let you fine-tune how the sound reflects and fills your space, but it will be up to you to make those tweaks by ear. Now, the good news is that Yamaha's beam steering tech is already pretty dang good. So even without automatic calibration, it sounds pretty balanced and immersive right out of the box in most setups. Still, it's something to keep in mind if you prefer a system that handles all the measuring and tuning for you. Now, when it comes to connectivity, it's pretty simple and pretty well thought out. There's one HDMI input and one HDMI eARC output that lets you use your TV and your TV remote to adjust the volume, as well as an optical input if you're using an older display. Now, that HDMI input allows you to connect a Blu-ray player, streaming box, or console directly, which is pretty rare in soundbars nowadays, so we're pretty excited to see it in this. Although I will note that it doesn't support HDMI 2.1 gaming features like 4K 120 or variable refresh rate, which would have been really useful for that HDMI input. Now, there's no subwoofer output on the back, and I really would have loved to see one here for users who might have wanted to add a more powerful sub or use one they already have, but I have to say, the wireless sub that comes with it is pretty solid, and I would say most users probably won't feel the need to upgrade anyways. Now, when it comes to streaming, this is where Yamaha's ecosystem really does do a great job. The 90A supports Wi-Fi, AirPlay 2, Spotify Connect, and Tidal Connect, along with Bluetooth for some quick pairing. They use the MusicCast app, which gives you access to Amazon Music, Qobuz, Pandora, SiriusXM, and many more, and lets you link the bar to other Yamaha wireless speakers throughout your entire home. Now, this MusicCast app is pretty good for streaming and multi-room playback, but the setup is actually easier when you use the on-screen display on your TV. In the manual, you'll pair the subwoofer and surrounds through the registration section, and you'll also want to turn on a setting called TrueX Ready, which allows the surrounds to power on automatically each time the soundbar starts up. There's also a small little display built directly on the front of the bar that does show some useful real-time information as things like input selection, volume control, sound mode, and it's pretty bright and easy to read, and it's a great detail that makes everyday use much simpler because you can go up and just turn up the volume up and down if you can't find the remote and other little things and see what's going on, but you can also just dim this display if it's distracting to you. In that on-screen menu, you can also switch between DTS and Dolby and Auro 3D decoding, and we recommend trying each one to see which one you prefer, but for us, with Dolby Atmos content, Dolby Surround mode provided a slightly more cohesive soundstage and just sounded a little bit better overall, so that's what we used for most of our testing. Now, the app also provides some simple EQ controls like bass bass and treble sliders, and a bass extension option. Now, when we were testing this soundbar, we used the same movies we always use that you'd typically think of, like Top Gun Maverick and Dune, and I have to say, this soundbar sounded pretty dang good with all of its features and created a really great 3D bubble of sound around you, especially with those rears. And with so many flagship soundbars coming out recently, they all sound so good. Now, you might be wondering, is this the best one for me? Well, I'd recommend you go to the link down below or go to audiodevice.com. You can always chat with our experts, as all these different flagship soundbars that are coming out have some different features that might work best for you. So, like this one has the wireless rear surrounds that are detachable, that are amazing if you want to have some speakers to take with you on the go, while others don't offer that, and this one comes with a subwoofer, but it doesn't have a sub out, so there's a lot of different things to think about when you're choosing your soundbar. So you can always leave a comment down below or just chat with the experts, stop by one of our award-winning showrooms and check them out for yourself and see which one's best for you. But if you do end up going with this one, we'll have to say you won't be disappointed with the sound quality of it. Dolby Atmos effects really did soar overhead, and dialogue stayed locked to the center of the screen, and effects moved seamlessly across the room. Now, with a flat ceiling around 8 to 10 feet high, the 12 beam drivers produce a pretty darn believable sense of height for a Dolby Atmos soundbar that fills the space above you and a little bit to your sides, although not really behind you unless you add those surrounds. Dialogue clarity is excellent with clear voice, and the overall balance between mids and treble sounds natural and detailed without being too fatiguing. The subwoofer's bass output was pretty impressive for its size. Now, it doesn't shake the walls like a big large separate sub would, but it integrates beautifully with the main bar. Now, once you find the right placement for it, it provides pretty clean, punchy low-end extension that brings energy and realism to movies and music. And finally, those wireless surrounds elevate the entire experience. They deliver real rear channel separation, something most soundbars only simulate, and they stay perfectly in sync with no lag or dropouts during any of our testing. Now, there's also a couple different modes that you can use. One's like 3D music mode that expand the stereo image vertically and horizontally and create an immersive soundstage that feels like you're sitting in a live performance space. There's also the straight mode, which preserves the original signal path for purists who prefer an unaltered 2-channel presentation. And then there's also stereo, which offers a more traditional left-right layout that still takes advantage of Yamaha's refined tuning. Plus, there's also all mode, which plays audio through every speaker in the system for maximum room-filling sound. Overall, this Yamaha TrueX Surround 90A brings together the company's decades of acoustic engineering, their experience in AV receiver design, and their innovation in wireless audio into one cohesive package. The TrueX Bar 90A alone sounds pretty dang awesome, but to us, the surrounds add a lot to the experience and are absolutely worth it. Now, if you have more questions that I didn't answer in this entire overview and you want a little bit more of a deep dive, you can check out our article linked below, or you can always reach out to our experts at audiodevice.com or stop by one of our award-winning showrooms. We'd be happy to help you out. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of our latest content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.